guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Annie. Here on this channel, I talk all things content creation, entrepreneurship, growing on social media, and a little sprinkling of life behind the scenes. And in today's video, I am sharing with you guys a handful of the reasons why I truly believe that anybody who is looking to grow and be successful on social media in 2022 really needs to consider YouTube over Instagram and starting a YouTube channel over an Instagram account. The first major reason of which is because the YouTube algorithm is so much easier to understand and navigate than the algorithm over on Instagram. There are so many Instagram analysts and managers and business people and what have you that will tell you that the Instagram algorithm is super easy to understand and navigate. However, I've spoken to a lot of friends who are full-time Instagram managers and Instagram business owners, and even from my daily use as a consumer of Instagram, not even just the actual algorithm itself, but also in terms of what the algorithm is looking for and what it favors. That kind of thing on Instagram is changing literally every single day, and just when you think you finally have a grasp on it, it just goes and changes on you. Whereas here on YouTube, even if I upload a video and it crashes and burns, it doesn't perform well, gets very minimal views, I can very easily just sit down and look at that video's analytics, and with a very minimal understanding of the algorithm, you can know very easily exactly why that video performed well or why it didn't. Here on YouTube, it comes so simply down to exactly where and how people are finding your video on YouTube and whether or not they click to watch it. Whereas over on Instagram, the algorithm favors video content today, then it prefers reels, then the next day it's more focused on this and that and the other thing. And honestly, as both a consumer of Instagram and a creator on Instagram, it feels like there's just never any winning. So therefore, as a content creator, when it comes to creating on YouTube versus creating on Instagram, their respective algorithms feel like on Instagram, it's kind of like having a boss that you can never win with, that's just never happy, versus the algorithm on YouTube kind of feels like working for that kind of boss that is immediately your best friend, that you have an amazing rapport with, that truly wants to see you succeed. So for that reason, when it comes to navigating, understanding, and manipulating and using social media algorithms, in my personal opinion, YouTube is eons easier than Instagram. Then the second thing that is another major selling point for YouTube over Instagram is that content on YouTube lasts forever, whereas content on Instagram has a very short lifespan. Essentially on YouTube, your content is never dead and can live on for years and years, getting you views and helping you grow. Now, like I said earlier, some videos that you're going to upload on YouTube are going to take off and blow up and get loads and loads of views and growth, while some others you may upload are going to crash and burn and not perform as well. However, on YouTube, whether your video completely blows up or totally crashes and burns, that video never ever loses its potential to be revived and continue to grow. Whereas over on Instagram, a picture or video that you uploaded like 3 years ago, even a year ago, unless somebody actually goes onto your profile and scrolls through years and years of content that you have posted, that content from 3 years ago, even a year ago, is pretty much dead on the platform. Whether you are consuming content on Instagram through your home feed or the Reels page or the Explore feed, on average, there's not a single piece of content over on Instagram that you're going to be consuming that is any older than about a month or so. And that is really just because the Instagram algorithm versus the YouTube algorithm is really set up to focus on more recent content and pretty much just kill any older content. Whereas content on YouTube really doesn't have any kind of an expiration date and grows forever. And a little bit later in this video, I will talk a little bit more about how that factor on YouTube really impacts your income and the money you can potentially make. But that definitely is another massive factor why I definitely prefer YouTube over Instagram. Now this next one, I'm going to be very careful about how I word this and say this, because my intent is not to say that creators on Instagram are fake. I'm definitely not saying that anybody's content is fake or inauthentic. However, I do very strongly believe that when it comes to talking about TikTok and YouTube versus Instagram, content on TikTok and YouTube is a lot more stripped down than it is on Instagram. In my honest opinion, both as a creator and a consumer of social media content on TikTok and YouTube versus Instagram, in my opinion, is just a whole lot more relatable and easier to take in. Whenever you are scrolling through your home feed on Instagram, a lot of the content you are consuming is heavily posed and edited with filters and presets, which also includes my own content, so no criticism, no judgment. However, in my own opinion, I think there is one glaring reason why TikTok and YouTube have absolutely taken off during the pandemic and Instagram kind of hasn't, and that is because content on those platforms are just a lot more authentic and stripped down and relatable. Following along that same brainwave and theme, I think that content on YouTube versus Instagram is a lot easier to relate to and get a better feel for somebody's personality. I am exaggerating 0% when I say that about 80% of content that I see on my Instagram home feed, on the Explore page, I have absolutely no idea what any of their voices sound like, let alone their personality. And definitely, as somebody who has spent about 4 or 5 years now learning how social media works and growing on social media, I can most definitely attest that when it comes to growing on social media, growing an audience, growing a community, one of the most important factors is to actually grow a genuine relationship with your audience and your community and build a foundation and relationship. Once people begin to actually start consuming your content and feel that your content is relatable, that they have a genuine connection with you, that is when you're going to see your follower count or subscriber count begin to climb. And honestly, when it comes to people who are hugely successful on Instagram, I think a lot of the time it's mostly celebrities and influencers that you already know from other places, where you already know what their voice sounds like, what their personalities are, you know more about their life behind the scenes. Whereas on platforms like YouTube and TikTok, I think that's where you begin to see people's lives a lot more under like a microscope. You begin to see a much more stripped down version of their day-to-day lives, and it's a lot more relatable. I really do think that versus the people I follow on Instagram, the people I'm subscribed to on YouTube, from having watched their content for months, even years, I know some of their favorite books, I know their coffee order, I know what their morning routine is, what their night routine is, their favorite thing to do with their friends, their favorite places to go. You get a much bigger sense of their taste in music and their favorite TV shows and how they journal, all of which are much stronger relatability factors and make them a lot easier to connect with. So for that reason, I really do think that YouTube is a much more real platform than Instagram, where it's just a whole lot easier to build a genuine connection with people and grow a genuine audience. Now, this is definitely one of the biggest pros when it comes to YouTube versus Instagram in terms of long-term and making passive income. And what I mean by passive income is the money that you are making and generating on your chosen social media platform whenever you're not actually working or creating content. Basically, if you are not working, you're not creating, you're not uploading or posting, how much money are you making in the background? In which case, I think it's actually a lot harder to make passive income on Instagram than it is on YouTube. Because on Instagram, you can't have any kind of a clickable link in your captions. You can only have one link in your bio at a time unless you have one of those things that allows you to have multiple links to different things, which is why I think it's a lot harder to make consistent passive income on Instagram than it is on YouTube. Because over on YouTube, there are so many other opportunities and ways to make 24/7 passive income than there are over on Instagram. Like I said before, videos on YouTube never ever die, whereas content on Instagram does eventually. So I could have videos on my channel that I uploaded like 4 years ago that are still getting views and still making me money 24/7 even in my sleep. On top of that, you can also have all of your YouTube video description boxes full of affiliate links and sponsored links, links to paid products that you have mentioned in your videos, and lots of other stuff like that. And that is also all before you potentially tack on anything else like sponsorships or UGC or things like that. Now, that is definitely not to say that making money on YouTube is as easy as 1, 2, 3, snap your fingers and you wake up rich tomorrow. There is still a whole lot of work that goes into researching and creating and promoting and growing income streams on YouTube. So definitely when it comes to passive income and making money as a whole on social media, I just think personally YouTube is a much better fit for that than Instagram. So yeah, you guys, that is pretty much everything that I had to share in this video in terms of YouTube versus Instagram and growing on social media in 2022. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, gained a little bit of insight, found something interesting, some food for thought. As always, you guys, thank you all so much for watching. I love you all to the moon and back, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!